The Confederation of Tertiary Students, they have vowed not to pay any utility tariff levied on them. William Evansinkum is in the Ashanti Regional Capital, Kumasi, and he'll be telling us more about it, what action they intend to take to enforce their stance on not paying the utility bill. Evansinkum is in the Ashanti region. We'll get him on the line very shortly. How many students are they? How they came to this conclusion?
Students on electricity and water bills. Well, obviously, this new development is not going to see a relaxed atmosphere as reactions are coming from students. But I've been joined by the PRO for this very group is Alex Kuma. Alex, you are saying you won't pay?
Yes, please. We are saying we won't play because this directive would cut off a lot of people from having access to tertiary education. Already the cost of tertiary education is very high. And even at the job market, when you finish by paying a lot of money and you go out there, you will still be unemployed. So what is the guarantee for paying? That notwithstanding, we know that in Ghana, access to tertiary education, a lot of people can't afford tertiary education. So if this government is very insensitive by putting in place this killer directive, a lot of people would be cut off from having tertiary education, and which we think is rather unfortunate. And we think a government which is looking at ensuring social justice wouldn't put up such a very socially unjust directive like this one, which has been kept in place.
All right, now, Alas, well, I don't know, but don't you think you are also being unfair to the government against the fact that some of your the leadership have agreed? For instance, I have a story here which I just want to read to you. Now, the National Council for Tertiary Education is insisting that the leadership of the National Union of Ghana Students, NUCS, agreed to the implementation of the utility cost sharing policy. And now you are saying that the government is being insensitive against the fact that your own leadership have agreed to this very development.
Very well. NUCS itself came out on TV3. Their president, Prosper, came out to state categorically that he wasn't in consent with this directive. He hadn't agreed to this directive. So I would find it very unfortunate if there is a publication saying that NUCS has come out. Well, we are not here to speak for NUCS. NUCS can speak for itself. If leadership took a decision without informing those at the grassroots, then we have the responsibility to tell leadership that the directive that they took is not right and that they should rethink. And that is what we are doing. We are representing the interests of all tertiary students in Ghana in this. And we know that it is very important that we put it out there to government to know that this directive is a killer directive because access to education in terms of affordability is already a problem. And this further burden would create a lot of problems in the system.
Okay. Now, you have described government mention of equity as far as this particular development is concerned as bogus. Why are you saying it's bogus?
You see, the issue of equity doesn't even come in. I find it very difficult to reconcile the issue of equity in this. Because already about the 70% per their declaration, in the issue of cost sharing, 1.1b, they made mention of the fact that 70% of students were off campus. That means they were not in the traditional halls of residence, and that they were already paying for their own utilities. And the rest of the 30%, which were in the traditional halls, are not paying because government is subsidizing for them. And the question is, those 70% that they are talking about, they were once in those traditional halls, and now that they are continuing students and they are not in the traditional halls, that is why they are not paying. So it will be rather unjust and inequitable if government is to remove the subsidies and allow the first years who didn't enjoy these privileges to now start paying. And that is our main problem here. And we find it very difficult to even reconcile issues of conservation with the payment. Conservation would come in place when we ensure that there is regulation and the appliances which are being used by students in these various institutions are being regulated and they are energy efficient. Conservation would come in if the administration itself ensures that they adopt highly technological and energy saving lighting system. Those are issues of conservation. the pipes and the rest shouldn't be leaking. Those are issues of conservation. But conservation cannot come in if you are asking students to pay and create further burden on them. I think the best way the government should do is to educate the students. Tell them that this is the situation at hand. And I find it even very, very, very disappointing that as one of the recommendations or the declarations, that was the observations. They made mention of the fact that students and staff were not adequately educated on how to efficiently use utilities. And if they are not adequately educated, what would you do? You educate them, but not to charge them.
All right. Now, because of time factor, I think you're going to hold a press conference, and then we'll be getting more of your concerns. So, Bridget, that is it from the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology, precisely the Independence Square. This is where scores or hundreds of students have gathered, and they are saying one thing over there: Yenchia utility bills. To it, they are not going to pay as far as the new development is concerned. The same thing is also happening at the Kumasi Polytechnic. That is it. So we will be giving you more development because very soon they are going to hold a press conference to brief the media what they have in their mind or their concerns as far as that of Kumasi Polytechnic is also concerned. My name is William Evan Sinkum. We now go back to studios and join Bridget for more on Midday Live. Over to you, Bridget.